Thank you very much. Thank you, Daniel and Jessica. So morning, everybody. My name is John Cornwell. I'm a community development worker and facilitator living in Mombasa in Kenya. So it's my pleasure to act as a facilitator in this session, where we're going to be looking at a very practical model, which is called the gender model family. And I've been lucky enough to be working with an organization called Welthungerhilfe, WHH, who've been using this model in different places, partly in Asia, partly in Africa. And I've just been really blown away myself. And you saw another person called Monica on the flyer. She's my colleague. Unfortunately, she's got a clash, so she's unable to be here today. So it's just me, but we've been facilitating different groups of community facilitators and local partners in 3 countries, which is Sierra Leone, Malawi, and Ethiopia. And in brief, they've been doing amazing things with this model. And, you know, some of you in the WhatsApp group, you'll have seen that I've shared a couple of things in the past about it. But we thought it'd be a nice idea to come together and do this webinar where you hear a lot more about what's been happening in those 3 countries. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to hear a little bit from each of them, and then we're going to have some small groups where you can interact with the presenters a bit more and learn more about what they're doing. But before that, we're going to actually show a short video. It's about 12 or 13 minutes, I think. And it's not from this particular project, but it's still about the gender model family. And it's also in Ethiopia, another part of Ethiopia called Oromia region. And this was a project called SMIS, which is small scale and micro irrigation support, a project that was run in the Oromia region. So they put together this video. It's in Oromo, but there's English subtitles for those who don't know Oromo. We recently shared it in another region in Ethiopia, in Afar, which is where our presenters are from today. And interestingly, they also didn't know the language. So it just was a good lesson about language diversity, of which there's so much. Anyway, we're going to watch the video and then we'll hear from the different presenters. So Jessica, please do your magic. Thank you.
Qonni dinagdee Itoophiyaa fi jiruuf jireenya uummata isheetiif bu'uuradha. Uummanni biyyattii dhibbentaa 83 kan ta'u qonna irratti hirkatee jiraata. Baay'ina uummataa keessaa dhibbentaa 50 kan ta'an dubartoonni oomisha midhaan nyaataatiif dhibbentaa 70 tumsa godhu. Haalli mijataa fi ifaajeen isaan taasisan haa jiraatu malee alwalqixxummaan koorniyaa guddina sektara qonnaa waliigalaa irratti rakkoo cimaa ta'ee itti fufee jira. Dubartoonni abbaa manaa qaban hojii qonnaatiif humnaaf dandeettii isaaniitiin walqixa tumsa taasisan iyyuu malee tumsi isaan taasisan guutummaan guutuutti hin galatoonfamu. Adeemsa murtoo kennuu, qabeenya to'achuu fi bu'aa argamus walqixa qooddachuu irrattis ga'een dubartootaa sababoota hawaasummaa, aadaa fi dinagdee garaagaraatiin baay'ee xiqqaadha. Yeroo baay'ee hawaasni dubartootaa fi dhiirotaaf ga'ee adda addaa ni kenna. Dhimmoota ijaarsa dandeettii garaagaraa irratti hirmaachuu, gareewwan hawaasummaa keessatti gurmaa'uun, tajaajila ekstenshinii fi odeeffannoo argachuun ga'ee warra dhiiraati jedhameeti yaadama. Dubartoonni sababii aadaa yookaan ilaalcha hawaasni isaaniif qabu, sadarkaan barnoota isaanii xiqqaachuu fi itti gaafatamummaa hedduu waan qabaniif yeroo dhabuudhaan tajaajilawwan kana keessaa ba'anii jiru. Sektara qonnaa keessatti hirmaannaa fi fayyadamummaa dubartootaa mirkaneessuuf SMIS biiroo qonnaa fi qabeenya uumamaa Oromiyaa waliin ta'uudhaan adeemsa maatii fakkeenya gaarii akka adeemsa ekstenshinii tokkotti raawwachaa jira. Adeemsichi adeemsa maatii ceesisuu ta'ee abbaa warraa, haadha warraa fi ijoollee of keessatti qabatee walitti dhufeenya koorniyaa maatii gidduu jiru miseensota maatii hundaaf carraa walqixa kennuudhaan kan fooyyessu, ga'ee hojii maatii keessaa haala haqa qabeessa ta'een akka qooddatan, qabeenya isaanii waliin akka to'atanii fi murtoo waliin akka kennan jajjabeessa.
Baay'ee gaariidha wanni kun. Odoo leenjii kana fudhatiin dura garuu wanna kana gongumatti wanna beeknu hin jiru. Garuu erga leenjii kana fudhanne immoo booddeerra hoo ishiin gabaa baatu ani maatii walitti qabee horii badallee sabasabee qoraanillee walitti qabee abidda hoodhaamillee abidda qabsiisata ishii eegaa ture jechaadha. Ishiinis immoo haala gabaate hoggaa galte wanna gabayyaatee galte san kanarraan oolee kanaatiin atarrafee kanaatiin argadhee galee jenneen waliin mari'annee maatii keenya kunuunsineetoo haala gaariidhaan hanbaratus mana barumsaa geenye illee manatti lukkuu tokko jalaa buuphaa kaasee horii jalaa xaragee horii jalaa xaragee horii eegee akkasitti walii gallee jiraan.
Yeroo duraanii kaanii miti ba'umallee duddatti baachaa turre jechuudha. Bishaanillee mataa keenya matuma kiyya bichaadhashu harka takkaanan xaara jechuudha. Duraan jechuudha. Daa'imumtillee hoo ergan tolen jettu sila barumsa hin qabdu jechuudha. Abbaa warraa kophaa hoonan waan akkanaa godhedheen na ajajjaan hadheentu na bulchaa jechaati nu abashaqa jechuudha. Amma erga sirna koorniyaa jedhamu kanaan saala walqixa jennu kana erga baranniin booda jechuudha. Waanuma hundumaallee erga tokko taanee tooni hojjetanna jechuudha.
Odoo waa'ee koorniyaa kanan baratin dura qonna olee hoggaan galee abbaan manaa kiyyaa wajjumaan qonna kana gulgaalaa olee daa'ima baadhitan eelee tolcha daa'ima wasallee narraa fidu ture. Maddiitti bunan godha bishaan immoo hoggaan isa godhee arradde dukkanas ta'u gana deemee na barbaada malee ani baadhee tanan dhaqee waraabee dhufa. Qabeenya qabnu immoo sangaa soo ta'e maalirraa qabda dubartii maalitti waa'ee qotiyyoo keessa maal gocha galti waa'ee midhaanii amma ta'e ercoo godhu malee maaltu waan baay'ina si galche naan jedha ture. Amma ergas jechuudha waa'ee koorniyaa kana barachuu keenyaaf abbaa manaa keenyan walqixa taane hojjechuu kana sirriittan galateeffadha. Irra guddaa isumaan galateeffadhu duraan dhugee galee na rabbashu qabeenya irraa maal qabdaan jedhu sun amma kunoo na wajjin qoforaa ola guyyaa irraa silaa hoggana bishinni jedheen buukum jechaa irraa sangalu sun na wajjin qofora kunoo amma ma argitan kana faayidaa sirriittan arge jechuudha.
Amma kaa dhuguma durii keenya akkuma amma laalekaatti hoggaa qonnaa gallu zimbineetuma galee ani zimbiree qotiyeetti yoo nuuba darbee tanaaneetuma kottee kee dhiqadhee zimbiree gara rafiitti kee adeemaa gargaarsa hoomaa beessaman gargaaru. Duratti sirruma sabsaba dubartiin maal gocha jettee qofa sabsaba deemama sabsaba maal gocha jettee naan amma garuu daddafee kayitoo sabsabaan kun wala darbeenneetoo daddabneetti wal qabanneetoo sabsabaa san wajjin nanneetoo haala gaarii wajjin dubbannee sabsabaa isaas gizee galle daddabneetoo haala gaariitti ijoollee gara barsumatti gara hojiitti ta'an hojii gara hundumaatti amma erga san dasnaan wedhu kana wajjin hojjechaa turre waan galataa argatu afaan keenyallee erga sanii wal ta'ee
Tole kam koorniyaa kana adoo gara filannoo qonnaan bulaa ittiin galin dura waldaa jallisii ijaarree waldaa jallisii sun miseensa abbaa warraa 155 qaba. Dhimma warraa kun immoo dubartii 30 qaba. Ida'amni isaa waliigala 185. Isaan akka ijaarree raawwanneen warra koorniyaa idileessuu kana nus akkuma leenjii fudhanneen isaan abbaa warraa 10 filanne fi haadha warraa akkasumas immoo isaan 10 walitti nama 20 kana filanneet mariitti gallee jechuudha. Mariin keenya jalqabaa akkuma leenjicha seenneen rakkoon duraan ture maalii waan jedhu san kaasne rakkoo san keessatti immoo tokkoon abbaa warraa nama kurna san haadha manaati wal cinaa teechisne mariisaati kan turre ta'uu isaati. Marii san keessatti immoo haati warraa gahee takkallee akka achi keessatti hin qabaanne qabeenya ishee irratti illee gahee kan qabaanne sochii hojjetamu keessatti illee dhiibbaan adda addaa akka irra ture fakkeenyaaf amma qabeenya irratti illee gahee kan qabaanne yeroo jennu keessatti nama fakkeenyaaf sangaa nama gabbisu taatee qabeenya nama horattee jirtu odoo taatee jirtu qabeenya isaa irratti illee walqixa mirga dhabuu ishee jechuudha. Mirga guutuu abbaa warraa san qixa fayyadamaati kan hin turre ta'uu fi hojii mana keessallee hunda haadha warraa qofa jedhamee irratti gatamee dhiibbaan adda addaallee kan irra gaatee ture yoo ta'u san keessatti daa'imallee tan baatu isheedha, tan hojii mana keessallee hojjetu isheedha, tan qoraanillee falaxu isheedha, tan hojii adda addaallee sangaallee tan godhu isheedha. Hojiiwwan waliigalaa hunda tan hojjetuu fi dhiirri akka feetadhaan kan bulaatee turee fi dhiibbaan adda addaa kan irra gaatee ture. San keessatti illee oomisha alaa sassaabamullee dugda isheetitti baattee akka nama daa'ima guddisuu sanitti illee oomisha illee sabassabaatee kan turte yookiin walitti qabaatillee kan turte haadhuma warraa san turte kana keessatti abbaa warraa bilisa ta'ee taa'atii ture jechuudha. Fakkeenya ijoolleen duraan illee barumsa akka feetadhaan gaafeedhaan hambisanii gaafeedhaan dhaqamsuun erga karooratti galan ijoolleen namni barumsa barachuu danda'u sa'aatii isaa eegee akka barumsa dhaqu. Sanii asitti immoo maal hojjechuu akka qabu warri haatiif abbaa sun karoora san baasanii kan itti galanii fi jijjiiramni kan dhufe ta'uu isaati. Abbaa manaatiif haati manaallee walii galan duraan galgala ganama tanillee wal dhaban maatii isaanillee jeeqassuuni jeequmsa sanirraa bilisa ta'anii raawwatanii jijjiiramni guddaan dhufee OA walii jedhanii walii owwaatanii jijjiiramni kun dhufee jira jechuudha. Jijjiiramni sunis maaliin ifaa oomishni isaanii dachaadhaan akka dabalu godhameera. Oomisha dachaan dabaluu san keessatti namoonni ollaa isaanillee jiran duraan akka warra badaatitti isaan laalassuun amala gaarii isaan irraa baratanii namoota kaanillee barsiisatii kan turan. Namoota kaanifillee raayyaa hojii gaarii nama ta'e ta'anii barsiisatii kan turan ta'uu isaati. Waltajjiillee yeroo dhaqan yaada kennuudhaan yaada gaarii kennuudhaan dura waltajjiillee ba'an jechuudha. Dhiibban ture odoo kornee kana fudhatin haati manaa abbaa manaa hojii waltajjii baate jechuun qaanii guddaadha. Akka qaanii guddaatti ilaalamaa ture. Ergaa kornee kana baratanii namni jijjiiramaatitti dhufe haati manaa sunillee abbaa manaatiin qixa teechee yaada qixa kennuudhaan gaafii mirgaallee gaafachuudhaan deebii akkama abbaa warraa sanillee deebii abbaa waltajjii irraa argachuudhaan deebii kennuudhaan gaafii gaafachuudhaan walqixa ta'ee kanallee fooyya'insa kan agarsiisan barumsa hamma kanaatti kan itti deemame ta'uu namni jijjiiramee jira. Nullee ergasiyyuu numtu hojjetaa mataa keenya baay'ee sana caalaa itti gammannee fi nullee mana keenya san caalaan itti fooyyessine ta'uu isaati.
Biiroon qonnaaf qabeenya uumamaa Oromiyaa jiruuf jireenya qotee bulaa fooyyessuuf oomishaaf oomishtummaan isaa akka dabalee jireenya fooyya'aa qonnaan bulaan akka jiraatuuf qaamolee ofiisa hojii hojjetu cinaa irratti qaamolee adda addaa kan inni akka inni ijoo dhaabbattoota adda addaa waliin inni hojjeta. Isa hojjetu keessaa tokko ismiizii dhaabbata jedhudha. Ismiiziin kun kan hojjetu irra caalaa akka walqixxummaan koorniyaa fooyya'uuf akka dubartoonni aanga'an sadarkaa maatii irratti kan hojjetudha. Hanga ammaarratti hojii baay'ee gaggaarii hojjeteera. Modelli kun immoo baay'ee fakkeenya kan ta'uu fi qotee bulaan hojii kana irratti modela fakkeenyummaa qabu kana irratti hundaa'ee haati manaa fi abbaan manaa wal ta'uudhaan kanaan dura kan hin turre rakkooleen adda addaa abbaan manaa qotee bulaa jedhamee ilaalama akka iddoo baay'ee irratti qaamoleen deeggarsa laatanis qotee bulaa an jedhan lakkaanii abbaa warra duwwaadha. Kanaaf abbaan manaa fi haadha manaa iddoo tokkotti ta'uudhaan rakkoo qaban irratti mari'achuudhaan addaan baasuudhaan haala jiru hundumaa jiruuf jireenya isaanii xiinxaluudhaan erga irratti karoorfatanii booda waliin murteessuu waliin qotanii irratti waliin hojjetu hojii ni qoddatu murtoo ni kennu kun immoo maatii isaanii irratti fooyya'insa agarsiiseera jechuudha. Hojii gaarii waan ta'eef biyyoonni guddatanii san jijjiiramanis haala akkasiitiin maatii irratti kan hundaa'e maatii irratti kan hojiin hojjetamu kun immoo maatiin fayyaa buleessa ta'e gaarii yoo ta'e walii galu ta'e biyyis akkas taate jechaadha. Biyyis fooyya'aa waan ta'eef irratti hojjetamuu qaba jechaadha.
Walumaa galatti maatiiwwan fakkeenya gaarii ta'an bu'aa xiinxala koorniyaa geggeessan irratti hundaa'anii Karoora maatii baafachuun hirmaannaan ga'ee hojii maatii isaanii keessa jiru akkasumas qabeenya irratti murtoo kennuu fi itti fayyadama bu'aa irratti haalli jiru haqa qabeessa akka ta'u taasisuun jireenyi isaanii fooyya'ee jira. Dhaabbanni Ismiis biiroo qonnaa fi qabeenya uumamaa Oromiyaa waliin ta'uun maatiiwwan fakkeenya gaarii ta'aniif sagantaa beekamtii fi muuxannoo wal jijjiirraa qopheessuun maatiiwwan eeyyamamoo fakkeenya gaarii ta'uu danda'an horachuun itti fufee jira.
Okay, thank you. Well, I hope most of you got most of that. I know sometimes the subtitles can be a bit difficult to follow. I've shared the link in the chat if any of you want to have a look at that video again later. But actually, this is a very practical model. You know, it gets down to the nitty-gritty of who does what in the household. You know, it's less theoretical, it's more practical, I think, which is one of the great things about it. So let's move on, and we're going to hear now from each of the three countries I mentioned. We're going to first start in West Africa and go to Sierra Leone. So I'll invite Elizabeth and Richard from an organization called Mopada, who are also partners with WHH. So Elizabeth and Richard, over to you.
Yes, so good morning again. As on the webinar for today's discussion, we have a slide that we want to share with you, and I'm making use of the 10 minutes from John. So we get started. Next slide, please. Okay, so I would like to give an overview of gender policy in Sierra Leone. So gender equality and over time, and it's as a result of male dominance in decision making. While as it's the reverse for women. Women are believed to engage in unpaid jobs like the household chores and childbearing. Over the years, Sierra Leone is fighting for gender equality, which is the 5th goal of the SDGs. The Gender Act 2022, which is the gender equality and women's empowerment, it seeks to ensure, next slide, please. The Gender Act of 2022 seeks to ensure that at least 30% representation of women in elective positions. It also seeks to ensure 30% representation of women in appointive positions. Also seeks to ensure that at least 30% representation of women in decision-making positions in public and private bodies. It also seeks to ensure that equal pay for work with equal skills and competence. Also, financial inclusion of women and access to finance. We also have to promote gender-responsive budgeting, establishment of gender units in all MDAs, mainstream gender in sectoral policies, laws, strategies, and action plasma. Next, please. Sierra Leone has made progress in gender equality, but there is still work to be done. With all these policies and laws for gender equality, the rural areas, which we refer to as the villages, are left behind. Much attention or emphasis is not laid to the rural areas by the MDAs. The rural communities are still in the traditional norms and cultures of gender inequality because they are not informed. We go to the gender component on the NSC project. The Nutrition Smart Community Project as a component of gender transformative approach, which is the gender model family. The gender model family includes the husband, the wife, and children who voluntarily want to challenge the traditional norms and cultures on gender roles and responsibilities. On this approach, We are working with households because we believe change starts from the home and reflects on the entire community. At the inception of the implementation of the project, the approach was a challenge because our operational chiefdoms and communities are traditional and religious people who so much believe in the patriarchal system of gender. It was believed that an elderly man, that is for the stakeholders in the town, we have the town chiefs, the section chiefs, and all leaders in the towns, in the communities, cannot do household chores, no matter how small it is, because it is considered to be the responsibilities and the roles of women to do household chores. Women don't attend community meetings. They were not allowed to talk in any gathering within the communities. Husband and wife may work in a plantation. After the harvest, the woman have no right over the outcome of the sales. Men take decision on the finances in the home and decision-making in the household. Husbands and wives have no intimacy or spending quality time with the wife and children. The men are always outside of the home, only to come at night to go to bed. Women have access to the household properties, but have no control over them, as all assets in the home and properties are being controlled by men. So at the inception of the project, that's just the things that we have found in the communities regarding the gender roles and responsibilities. So during our implementation on the NSC project, we have recorded some success stories from our gender model families that we are working with in these communities. With these successes, we have, with the implementation of the gender model family from awareness raising, that was where we started, bringing gender awareness to the communities so that they will be aware of gender equality in their communities and their homes, conducted trainings where husband and wives do attend the trainings for them to be trained on gender equality. We go through the monitoring. We have feedback meetings and exchange learning visits where we bring 2-3 communities together to share their experiences while using the gender model family approach. The gender model family approach has helped couples or households to live in peace, in love, and in harmony. Roles and responsibilities are now shared in the household. However, anybody can do anything. Husbands now assist their wives in household chores and taking care of the children. Women are now key partners in decision-making at both household and community level. The men support their wives during maternity period, that is before, the during, and after childbirth. It has increased as a result of the gender model family approach. Husband and wife now have mutual understanding in the utilization of proceeds from the farm, that is the income from sales of their agricultural produce. Note, these successes mentioned above is as a result of the acceptance of the people. When we introduce this particular approach in the community by the awareness raising, the trainings, monitoring, every step that we took on the gender model family, the people were overwhelmed and excited to receive the gender model family because they wanted to be part of the change in their communities. So with their acceptance, that helped us to record these successes. Yes, so just some photos from our implementation. The first photo is a training session where we have husbands and wives attending training. The other photos is during monitoring where we meet husband and wife doing some work in the household, like cooking together. And also the photo we are seeing, the husband and the wife, they are having a sewing machine. The man is a tailor. He's a renowned tailor in the community. He has been sewing people's clothes. So over the time, the machine that he's using got spoiled. It went beyond repairs, so he needed a new one. But at the moment, he had no money on him to buy a new machine. But because this man has empowered his wife, the wife was given an amount of money to do some petty trading in the community for herself to support the household. This woman was able to support the husband to buy this sewing machine for the husband. So it was a very good story that the husband shared with us, and we find it so interesting. And it was recorded by the woman that she was happy to do that for the husband because the husband has empowered her. She now has her own finance on herself because the husband gave her money to do some trading, that which she is doing with all her strength. And also the other picture on the other slide is the husband taking care of the child. They were on their way from the farm to the community. I just met them on the way that I decided to have a photo of them. So these are just few photos from our communities which regarding the gender model family. Next slide. Okay, thank you. This is our presentation from Sierra Leone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And you really kept to the time, so that's really appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think we can just maybe have 1-2 quick questions if they're there before we move to the next one. Or comments, any reactions from anybody?
Yeah, yeah. This is Orato from Nigeria.
Please come in.
Yes, I want to appreciate the presenter, especially the success story that has been so established. But I want to find out, was it just smooth sailing? Was it just smooth sailing, or we had some inhibitions, some challenges which they faced? Because it's a cultural thing, really, in this part of Africa. And to do cultural transformation, it will take quite some time. So I was just wondering whether this approach in Senegal did not attract criticisms or resistance. So I just want some more. And how did they come around the resistance? Because we need to copy some of these things in our part of the world.
Yes.
So we need to know. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for the question. Likely, just as you said, it has challenges because in this part of Africa, the socialization on gender roles and responsibility, more as we are working with traditional and religious people in our communities, there has been challenges that we record at the inception of the implementation of this project. These challenges were just as I mentioned in the slides, the stakeholders of the communities, they were our challenges. When we talk about the chiefs, those that are in leadership role in the communities, because to them, in receiving this information at first, they saw it as a threat that no, a man like me, I cannot do this. If I assist my wife in the kitchen, she will have to take it as if it is my role or it is my responsibility. If there come a day that I do not do this work that I have been doing, it will be a challenge in my home. There will be a conflict. So to them, they were saying, no, I can't do this. And also to our religious leaders, like the imams, because our communities are more Muslim dominated. According to their teachings in the Quran, it also goes against the gender model family. So with all these challenges, it was good. We have the awareness raising, the approach that we took in giving out this awareness on gender equality by citing examples, because over the years, just as I mentioned, in the bigger towns, things like this are happening. But in the communities, when you go to the communities, they are still living in these traditional norms and their cultures. But because some of them do travel, move from the community, come to the bigger towns to do some transaction and go back, they can see that things are changing in the cities. So we lay emphasis to see that these changes also occur in the communities that they are living. No matter you might be in the village, but you can also do something that people in the city are doing. And the other people in the communities really receive this information well. They were so interested. As we stated the time we sat together in the community, we have to set the time together, where the date wherein we come to do this training. And we have our training manual on the gender model family that has steps. We have 7 steps in the manual to go through this training on gender model family. So with these trainings and effective monitoring, from the training and the monitoring, it was very effective. I did it myself, encouraging them. They are adults. You don't have to tell them to do this and this. As it was in my note, it is an acceptance. In our communities that we are working, I can assure you they were really, 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 really excited about the gender model family, and they accepted it. With their acceptance, they were able to change some ways, and they are appreciating it presently. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth, and thanks also for the great question. I think we need to move on, but there's a very interesting comment in the chat from Judy, and basically she's saying, what about the role of, elder men and women, specifically matriarchs, and the influence they have? So that's something to think about as we move forward with the discussion. But I'll invite my colleagues from Malawi now. That will be Tapiwa and Danstan. And, over to you both for the next few minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, John. I hope everyone is able to hear me now.
Yep, pretty good, thank you.
Though I had a question for the previous presenter, it's just a quick one. I don't know if I can come with, I can ask.
Go and ask.
All right, I just wanted to know how many families do you have? How many families have you recruited in this cohort? Elizabeth?
Yes, Tapiwa. For the model families, I'm having 750 households because I'm operating in 50 communities in 3 chiefdoms.
Wow.
Yes.
All
right. 750, you said?
750 households in 50 communities.
Wow. Okay.
3 chiefdoms.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right.
Okay, so morning, everyone. I missed the introductions, so I'll just have a quick introduction of myself. My name is Tapiwa. I'm the gender officer for the Nutrition Smart Community Project that is in Malawi. So I'll be presenting on behalf of Malawi. Next slide. Okay, so I just want to start with giving you a quick background on why including gender in nutrition project. So as we all know that women play a significant role in ensuring that children receive proper nutrition. So that is starting from breastfeeding up until preparing balanced meals for the homes. So though this is so, we know that women lack adequate resources to meet their nutrition needs. Though they are the ones on the center of preparing meals and breastfeeding, but they are also they lack resources to produce these meals to ensure that the diet is balanced. So this is why we are including the gender model family approach to ensure that we address the unequal power relations in the households. So the gender model family approach is a very unique approach which typically focus on individual households, which are expected to act as models to the other households that are not in the among the gender model families. So that is like they are supposed to act according to the trainings that they're given, so that other family members and as well as the community members copy from what they are doing, depending on the benefits that they are able to see from the gender model families. Next. Yeah, so the burden of work for women and girls. I'll move to the expected shifts. As I said already, that the gender model family approach, they are expected to act as models to other families. So before everything, they are given trainings, and we also have a manual that we use during the trainings. So much part of the training involves how they can share households between men and women. And we see the daily activity profile for women, and we also see the daily work for men. After that, we compare the course that they do each and every day. Then we expect them to balance. So men are expected to help women because they are the ones who are overburdened with household chores. So due to this, the women and girls has less chores than what they previously had. And men and women also experience a greater capacity to earn money, because we also teach them on how to share decision making in terms of family resources, and how they can share work that brings money within the household. Apart from that, another expected shift is the specific existence that comes after the family becomes a gender model family. They are not now doing things together, and after sharing the work, the household chores, and after sharing the decisions, they are now able to have enough time for themselves and talk about other family matters. That helps them to live peacefully. And apart from that, women's self-esteem has also increased because they feel like they are also part of the family decision implementing process, because they are now empowered to also be acting as men in terms of bringing resources for the household, as well as making decisions on how various resources are supposed to be used. Yeah, next. So on the JMF landscape in Malawi, so far we have we recruited 258 households, that is over 500 participants. And among these ones, we have 6 per village. So among the 6, we had a criteria of having a polygamous couple, that is adding to 500 something, because we understand that the community that we're working with is a Muslim state. So most of the families are polygamous families. So we had to include them as well, because we can't talk of ripple effect without involving the real participants that are in the community. So we also have close supervision and collaboration with the government officers that are helping us cascading the trainings. And we also work together with the youth who acts as change agents within the communities. So we use them in different programs. For example, when we have open day events, we use the youths to come up with something to do with the gender model family approach, so that everyone can understand it better through role plays and dramas and poems. We also work hand in hand with village development committees, because we understand that these ones are the ones that are on the center of making communal plans. So when we are involving them, we expect them to help us looking at the gender model families. When they have meetings, community meetings, they're able to share what the gender model family approach is, because I understand this is a new thing in their community. So the village development committees helps us a lot. And we also work with community volunteers as well as government extension workers that also received capacity in they are the first ones that received the trainings, so they're the ones that are helping us in facilitating the trainings. So all these that I mentioned above received gender model family trainings according to the manual that we use. We trained them all on what gender model family approach is all about. Next. So the paradigm shifts that we have had so far during the implementation process. So for now, most of the families are able to follow the action plans because during the trainings, they're supposed to come up with an action plan, which they use in their various households, and they tick who is supposed to do what and which decision is supposed to be done at that particular time. So we had supervisions. During the supervisions, we found out that most of the families are able to follow the action plans, and most of the hardcovers that they wrote the action plans are ticked. They tick where they have accomplished something. And we also, during the supervisions, we had time to talk to children for each household as well as the neighbors. So these people could testify that the families are better off than what they used to be. They are now able to help each other with cause, and they are making decisions collectively. Now it's farming season here in Malawi. They're able to go to the fields together, which was not the case in the previous scenarios. It's only women who were on the forefront going to the gardens, but now the children are able to testify that even the husband is able to go to the fields together with the wives. And most of the households have collaborated in making their family decisions as well as performing household tasks. That is visible as we saw during the second supervision, that they have kitchens as well as toilets, which was not the case in the past. Most of the households did not have toilets; they were just using the bushes, and they did not have gardens, which was contradicting with our goals as a nutrition project. But during the supervisions, we found this, which means that there is a big change. Next. Still on the shifts, we have a village that we identified as a model village where other villages goes to learn a thing or two. So this is Lija village, is one of the best villages so far. During the first supervision, there was more like nothing that was happening in the village. Most of the households, I can just say all the 6 households that were participating in the gender model family approach in the village did not have toilets, and they did not have gardens, and most of the families had fights. But after the trainings, they understood the concept. During the second training, they understood the concept and they went back and constructed toilets. Now we have a toilet for each household, and we also have gardens for each household. The homes now look like a home because they are working collectively. So people from other villages goes to Lija village to learn how they can also transform their villages. And we are also working with group village headmen that are traditional leaders. So we work with 2. Unfortunately, we lost one. He passed on. That was in December. May he so rest in peace. But now we are left with one who is a very big influence, and he's helping us a lot in the implementation of the gender model family approach, because he's able to cascade the message to the village members as well as to his elders, and people are able to implement what is being taught during the trainings, despite them not being part of the gender model family approaches. I mean, the gender model family participants. So through this traditional leader, we have also managed to implement a very crucial intervention in the village, where now it is said that every husband is supposed to accompany his wife during when they're attending the maternity, when they are going to the hospital for checkups and everything to do with when the woman is pregnant as well as when the child is born. It's now compulsory. When you go alone without your husband, you're not attended to. So this is because of the traditional leader that helped us a lot to set this, and it's working a lot, and we can see that there's a big change. So on the shortcomings, in every project we have challenges. So on this one, we had fake couples. These were women who are coming with people that are not their husbands. So they were attending the trainings just for the incentive part, and after that they go home, and during the other training they come back with another man. So we we found out that we have fake couples, so we tried to follow up, and during the second supervision, we managed to trim 12 couples. So among the 258 families that we had, we now have 246 that we are working with. Just to add on the shortcomings, though it is not included, during the first trainings, we had challenges because most of the men were complaining that, it's something that is embedded in them. They are born to be breadwinners and not help their wives with their cause, or maybe make their wives help them with decisions. So people are laughing at them. They could seem that they are weak. So with close supervision and the trainings and the meetings that we had with them, at least now, and the people now are able to see the good things that are coming out from the gender model family. So they can now testify that it's not a bad thing, but it's good to change. And now they are also following the same steps. And on another challenge, as I said already, that the community is a Muslim state, is a Muslim community. So most of the couples were polygamous ones. So on that one, that's why we thought of including one couple as a polygamous couple to act as a model for the polygamous couples that are present in the communities. Next. So those are just pictures. That one is one of the facilitators. He's a government extension worker. Then that was during gender model family sensitization meeting. Next. Okay, so that one is a youth couple. That one was captured during one of the trainings. As you can see, they seem so happy. That was during the second training. Yeah. Next. That one is another couple. It's an odd couple. So I forgot to say on the criteria that we used to choose the 6 families, one was an odd one, and one was for the people with disabilities, one is for the polygamous couples, and one couple was odd couple, another one was a middle-aged one, and one was a couple belonging to a leader, that is a care group leader or a cluster leader, because those ones are the ones we use during nutrition trainings. So that is the criteria that we use to choose the 6 couples in each village. Next. So that one is a group photo for different families that we captured during a training. Next. Yeah, and that one is one of the polygamous couples that are doing so great in the project. As you can see, they look so happy, and the husband balances between all the 2 wives. When he buys food for this family, he's also supposed to buy the same for this one. And the wives are now happy. They stay together and without fights that like they used to in the past. Next. Yeah, I think that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, I'll be able to respond to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tapua. I hope we're all smiling after seeing those happy couples, eh? And I'm reminded Valentine's Day is coming up, eh? So that was a good coincidence. Thank you very much. Any quick questions for Tapua? Or reactions?
Well, maybe I should come in here.
Please, yeah.
I'm happy that because I was wondering initially that no government presence, but I'm happy in this last presentation, the involvement of government or the public sector was highlighted in terms of the government extension workers. Perhaps she needs to throw more light on how that synergy was built between the NGO, that's the private involvement in this project, and the government, because that has always been the sour point. Government, following this top-down approach. In most cases, projects that are initiated by the private sector, that's the non-profit sector, usually government officials or governmental institutions are usually not interested. But I'm happy she brought this in now, which was not the case with the last presentation. So perhaps she should throw more light on how easy or how difficult it was to build this synergy between the government as well as the private sector in carrying out this very successful project. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Tapiwa, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, on that one, during the when we were introducing the project, we introduced it at the district level first before going to the fields. So in the first introduction, we invite all relevant stakeholders. So in this case, we used the district nutrition coordinating committee, as well as the gender office, as well as the community development office. So I invited all the officers from the said offices, and we introduced the project, and they accepted it, and also highlighted on what we need to improve and what we are supposed to do, so that it's easy to implement it on the ground. So in addition to that, we also included them in the sensitization meetings, and as well as when we were choosing the leaders, as well as identifying the beneficiaries, we were accompanied by the government officers. So this is how easy it was, and I can say that it's smooth now, and we work with them collaboratively, and there's no much challenge on that. Yeah.
Thanks, Tapiwa. Maybe I can add to that, Ogato, that I've worked with all three countries, and we've done sensitization workshops and training of facilitators. And in each case, the level of government involvement, and not just involvement, but support and engagement, has been very impressive. So I think that's a really good issue to bring out. So it's been very good. Can we take one question from Mandisa and then move to the last presentation? And maybe Abdul, if you could put your question in the chat, that might be another way of doing it. I'm just very conscious of time. Sorry about that. Mandisa, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Tapiwa, for the presentation, and also to the previous speaker. It's good to hear that there was also involvement of persons with disabilities in the cohort. So maybe the question I have is, what were some of the measures you put in place to ensure reasonable accommodation, if at all, to ensure the participation of persons with disabilities? Because this is sometimes an issue in some of the projects, to ensuring that persons with disabilities are able to also to participate. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that question. So responding to that one, we are working collaboratively with an organization that deals with people with disabilities. That is, in abbreviation, we call it FIDOMA, as well as MACODA. So they are the ones that tells us how and who to include in terms of the capacity of the person, as well as the extent of the disability, because we are supposed to include those that are able, that can be able to move from one side to the other during the trainings, and those that can be able to get what we are trying to say. So we had good help from the two offices, that is FIDOMA and MACODA. That is how best we are working with the people with disabilities. Though there were challenges, lots of them, but we managed to solve them, and now we can say that there are no more challenges. I don't know if I responded to your question.
Thank you, Tapiwa. So yes, I'm actually familiar with the two organizations that you actually cited. They were also part of our training that we did in Malawi. But I think if there is time later on, it would be good to hear about some of the challenges that you experienced and how you were able to overcome. And possibly we could link you also with our country office, in Malawi. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. That would be great.
Thanks. Please connect with each other. This will be a great outcome of the session, or one of them. So thanks for the question and the response, and for bringing up the issue. Really nice comment here from John Okewo. He says, I really love the essence of husbands accompanying their wives to health facility or to any direction of interest, and they're given the first priority because they've all left their home without somebody taking care. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to move on to Ethiopia. I have to say, I think it's highly unlikely we'll do any group discussions because time is tight. We always have these great ideas, but they don't always come to play. But anyway, let's go to Ethiopia, different part from where the video was made, to Afar region, which is in the east or northeast. And I'll invite Fatumo and Awol. Please, over to you.
Hello, how you doing, everybody?
Good.
Yeah, Fatima is just adjusting the sounds of her laptop, so she will share with you the slide. Yeah, we need a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay. So I think now maybe we can go back to Abdul Hamidu. He had a question while they're preparing themselves.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I could not be able to, the network was not conducive, stable. I couldn't get the first one, but the second one, I got it in. So my question is, the countries you are dealing with are generally countries that we can call small in terms of land scale and population. So in a situation like Nigeria, which is the largest, biggest Black population, I don't know how feasible is it to conduct such experiment. And again, that's one side. Then the second aspect is the patriarchal nature of our societies. So it becomes very, very difficult to operate such a system, attempt. But adding, in addition to that, is the patriarchal division of labor. You are trying to destruct the patriarchal division of labor. And if you are doing that with the present global economic situation, where it becomes more difficult again, then I don't know how. I'm just asking within the context of if, for example, in Nigeria, we want to attempt such a thing, because here in Nigeria, we all know the women in women farmers, women in agriculture, women in so many things, and then the support they get, but it's at a little scale, right? Coming to domestic activities, it is really going to be a Herculean task. But I know that with more sensitization and, but then the most influential aspect of it is here the traditional rulership are not so, they don't exert much power, but there are certain custom and tradition that is going to be very, very difficult to penetrate. But I know that Okoto is around, Professor Okoto is around from Nigeria. He may appreciate what I'm saying more. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Abdul. About the size of the country, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure what to say about that, but Ethiopia is a pretty big country. So we're going to hear from them just now. I know it's not as big as Nigeria, but it's 100 million people now. So I guess the issue of scaling up is always a challenge wherever you are. You know, how to move from like doing this with a fairly small number of people, though you've heard quite a few hundred people have been worked with, to a much bigger scale. And then the issue of patriarchy, well, we know patriarchy is everywhere and it's very strong. I don't know if any of the other colleagues from Malawi or Sierra Leone would like to comment on that one at all. Otherwise, we'll go to Ethiopia. see they're ready. So I don't know, Tapiwa or Elizabeth, if you want to
a
come
quick
in.
one.
Or Daniel, please do. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, John, and thank you, Amidu, for the intervention. Just a quick comment about one. The size of the country is not so much important, because even within these large countries, we have many communities and therefore varied cultures and commitment to the dominant ideologies. The whole process of gender transformation is about challenging the power dynamics within each community, irrespective of what happens in the larger country, because the larger country is a political organization, but each within the countries we have communities who are committed to the dominant ideologies in those communities. And what has been done by this model is to get to a point where there is some negotiation and a challenge and demonstration of the benefits that would come if there is a rearrangement of, for instance, the division of labor, and also how power is exercised with regard to access and control of resources. And that's how we have been able to achieve, to demonstrate these shifts by largely giving some buying into the cultural systems. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for that. Evans, we're going to leave your question for now. We need to hear from Ethiopia. As they're ready now. So it would be, but please do comment in the chat.
Sure.
So Fatuma, over to you.
Okay.
Or both of you.
Hi, everybody. I am Fatuma from Ethiopia region. Okay. Promoting gender transformation through the gender model family approach. And we introduce gender equality is key to a social and economic development. And the gender model family approach promotes gender equitable household, and the initiative involves translating, adapting, and cascading gender training for sustainability. Also, translation and adapting of gender model family training manual, and translating the gender model family manual into Afar language for better understanding. Also, culturally adapting to align with Afar tradition while promoting gender equality, and also ensure community acceptance and relevance of training materials, and also cascading gender transformation training used a train of the trainer approach for sustainability, empowered facilitators to lead gender discussion, build capacity for continued community-based gender advocacy, and also community sensitization and gender model family registration, and conducting awareness campaign on gender equality, and also introduced the gender model family concept, registered families willing to adopt gender equitability practices, and also we make first gender model family training, 230 gender model family, conducting training for 230 gender model family. Topic covered is gender roles and power dynamics, also shared household responsibilities, also leadership and gender advocacy. In addressing gender-based violence, encourages application of learnings in household and community, and also impact and the next step, increase gender awareness among family and leaders, and strengthen capacity of community facilitators, and establish gender model families as role models. Next step is, could you hear me, John? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Next step, conducting follow-up assessments, expand training to more families, also establish a peer support network,
Also, closing this initiative lays the foundation for long-term gender transformation. Community ownership ensures sustainability, and continued support and monitoring will strengthen the impacts. And also the manuals that we translated is distributed for the community facilitators, and we also translated the posters to share with how with gender model family each household to distribute. Until now, we have this report. Thank you. I will share you now.
Thank you. Sorry, there's a lot of background noise. It's not so easy to hear. I just found a couple of photos from the workshops we did at the end of last year. So you can at least see Fatuma there on the left, and Awal is there second from the right. Yeah, I'm just sharing your photo, eh?
Yeah.
To see what else I can find there. So this was from, one of the community sessions.
Yeah.
Community sensitization session. Maybe some more photos somewhere. That was in the training of facilitators there. Any more? Oh, there's a nice one around the group. So what was very interesting with this was not only did I have the opportunity to go to Afar in Ethiopia, but Elizabeth from Sierra Leone was my co-facilitator. So she actually spent about a week, about in Afar working with them. So it was a very nice example of, kind of exchange between two different countries, different organizations.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's a little bit from Ethiopia. Do we have any quick questions or comments or reactions? Thank you for that, Fatuma, as well. There's I think a couple of questions have come up in the chat. Oh, there's one here, question to Tapiwa about the fake couples, eh? And did the participants receive any remuneration? So Tapiwa, maybe you could answer that. And then I think we had a question from Evans as well. So let's come to him as well. Tapiwa, a quick comment on that, the issue of fake couples.
Okay, I've seen the question. Okay, so why would fake couples join the training? Okay, so the problem was during the recruitment process because we used the cluster leaders and care group leaders that we have, that we use as community volunteers for the project, because we received overwhelming numbers on the first place. So to identify the real couples that are in real need for the approach, we had to use the community volunteers. So these ones are the ones that were sometimes putting someone who is not married, but rather just putting them because of the incentive part of the project. So it was found that most of the people that were fake couples were the cluster leaders, or maybe somehow related to the cluster leader, just for the incentive part. Yeah, but we are lucky that we had to realize that a bit earlier than before it was too late, and we identified the fake couples and removed them. So yeah, on the remuneration, they receive transport allowance, but it's just a small amount of money just to take them back home. And during the trainings, because they spend the whole day, they are given refreshments as well as a small amount of money that they should use for lunch. So that is why we had fake couples. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It happens. I mean, what I can also add to that is I know this project is being very strict about not giving people allowances. Yes, that's a transport remuneration and some lunch and so on. But beyond that is not that you're being paid or remunerated in some way to be part of the gender model family process, because it's a long-term process. And the only rewards, I think you saw in the video, people were given certificates, or maybe sometimes they get a gift. But apart from that, it's really important that people have that genuine commitment to, because it's about you, it's about your family, you know, and how you want to live. So I think that's actually been one of the secrets of the success, to be honest. Yeah. So I think we're almost out of time, but and I see Evans is not here anymore. I don't know if anybody wanted to comment about Judy's question from earlier about what about the older generation? I mean, families are not just husband, wife, and children, are they? As we know, the families can be very complex. Would anybody like to come in there from Tapiwa or Elizabeth? The colleagues in Ethiopia, Fatuma and Awol. Any thoughts on that one?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question was about, you know, what about the influence of the older generations, you know, in particularly elderly women, but elderly men as well. How do you work with those dynamics in the project?
Okay. So I'll start from our side, Malawi. As I already said in the presentation, that we have 6 couples, and among those ones, we have 1 couple that is for the older people, that is from the ages of 65 up until 90 something. So those ones are the ones that are also helping us a lot, because they are able to tell the young couples how they were behaving in the past, how they were able to have how they were able to live in marriage for so many years, and they are also able to learn how they can handle their grandchildren back home. So that is how, as Malawi, we are involving the older generation. And also we understand that the families, most of the families are extended families. It's not just the husband, wife, and the children. They are staying with relatives. So after the trainings, during the trainings, it's just the husband and the wife, and we expect them to teach their children back home. When they go back home, they should show the action plan to the children, because they are expected to share the course that according to the trainings, they're supposed to share roles, redistribute the roles that was not the case in the past. So this is when they invite all the family members, regardless of them being their own children, or maybe the aunties or the uncles. They invite all of them and tell them what they have learned in the trainings, and reshare the roles so that everyone should be on track. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I think this is probably the last question about the selection criteria for recruitment of couples. If you could just comment.
Hello, can I come in?
Yeah, please, Elizabeth. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. Just to respond to how the elderly people in the communities, for our communities, each community we are working in, we have the gender committee, which comprises of this the stakeholders of the communities and also these elderly people. They serve as sorry, 1 minute. Sorry. So this committee comprises of these elder people who attend our trainings, and they also serve as model as well. They are model in these communities as to be seen as example as how their marriages, their relationships in the community with their partners, the couples in the household serve as example to the youth, to the young couples. They are in this community. They make sure that wherever they see couples that are in conflict, they come in. So as a result of this gender committee in these communities, they now serve as any issue relating marriages. They now serve as people that come in to talk, to be something like counselors, to talk to these partners so that they can resolve this conflict and also talk to them about this gender equality. So we are using them as model in the communities.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for that, Elizabeth. And some good bit of clarity about the whole community approach, which is very important. I think we've run over time, and we seem to have lost Daniel. He's the one who normally does a wrap up. But I think we've got another board member with us, which is Abdul Hamidu. So maybe Abdul, if you don't mind, I can just give you the last word to thank everyone and wrap up for us.
A very commendable presentation, because we've heard from different countries, and we must commend all those that participated in the program, those that initiated, and then we must also commend the IACD, especially Jessica, who has given us this platform. It's a very good, and I've learned one or two things that it is possible if we are serious about it. Sorry, what I was saying is that, what I was saying is that it's a very commendable effort, and it is very important that we encourage it, and we should be happy to Jessica and the rest of them that have facilitated this sitting for us. That's just what I want to say.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, everybody. We'll be back next month. I know there'll be communication about that. And take care. Thanks for the participation. Special thanks to the three presenters who came in, and really great insights that you shared. And hope everyone's enjoyed the session. Have a good day.